Shedeur Sanders told the Baltimore Ravens, don't draft me. Don't draft me at number 141. They were like 3 picks before the Cleveland Browns. The Baltimore Ravens were going to draft Shedeur. They called Shedeur before doing that. And Shedeur told them, nah, I don't want to sit behind Lamar Jackson. I want to be in a place where there's more of an opportunity to play. This kid's brain dead. This kid has been badly mentored by his father. This kid's ego is out of control. This kid has no idea what he passed up. The Cleveland Browns are one of the worst franchises in all of sports, one of the worst run franchises. They're a laughingstock. The Baltimore Ravens are considered one of the premier franchises in all of sports. This dude could have been mentored by Lamar Jackson. This dude could have played for an elite coaching staff. And I'm not taking a shot at Kevin Stefanski, but what John Harbaugh and the Ravens have done over the course of like 15 years, I want to go somewhere where I can play early. How about learning the game? How about saying, hey man, didn't Aaron Rodgers sit for 3 years and then turn into one of the greatest quarterbacks we ever seen? Hadn't that been the history for Steve Young, sat for several years behind Joe Montana? Sitting and learning from an all-time great. Didn't Patrick Mahomes sit and learn from Alex Smith before taking the reins? Shedeur Sanders is going for instant gratification. This is my problem with Shedeur and Deion. No self-awareness, no savvy. You do not turn down the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, and that organization. So you can, 3 picks later, go to the Cleveland Browns? Oh, that's right. I'm sure when the Ravens called, they probably called and said something that was racist, and that's why Shedeur didn't want to go. But let's blame racism for Shedeur's idiocy. So, Steve, we're going to start at a place where I love to start, where I just left off. Shedeur Sanders turning down the Baltimore Ravens, and I know it still would have been in the 5th round, but you get a chance to sit and learn underneath Lamar Jackson. If an organization that turned Lamar Jackson into a passing quarterback, you're telling them, no, you don't want to be in that quarterback room, you don't want to be with that franchise, and you leave yourself open to the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders is an idiot. Your thoughts?
First of all, good Monday to you, Jason. And yeah, let's go back about 4 or 5 months, Jason. This whole agenda or the storyline narrative that Shedeur was blackballed. I'm beginning to believe it, Jason. He was actually blackballed. You know by who? Himself. I mean, Jason, you got to know your leverage in life. And this reminds me of the late, great Kevin Samuels. You'd have these women on. These women would all be overweight. They're probably 3 or 4s. They don't have a light going on. And they're the ones demanding, I need a high-value man that makes $200,000, and he's 6 feet tall, and he has to be about 210 pounds and looks like prime Denzel Washington. Good luck with that. You can ask for it. You're not going to get it. You're only as good as your leverage. And Jason, I do find this interesting, though. Have you ever seen this much attention focused on a 3rd-string quarterback at any time in the football season? Ever before?
We haven't. It's accurate. I will say, I found this interesting, though. Just because everybody's caped up and Shedeur is a victim of a diabolical racist plot, and we come to find out he's the lone gunman. He is the conspiracy theory. Steve, you've been passed on in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, and you come around to the 5th round and you tell the Baltimore Ravens, hey, don't do it? Don't do it? How many other teams do you think he told, hey, if I'm not going to be in competition for your starting job, don't draft me? And maybe that's why he fell to the 5th round.
So you're telling me in 3 years he might be telling the Edmonton Eskimos or the Toronto Argonauts, I'm good. I'm good. So basically, based on what you said, Jason, he was the one with the long-range rifle in the book depository, the grassy knoll. He was Jack Ruby, Lee Harvey. He was all of that at once. I'm mesmerized by this story now. I really am, because I woke up on Sunday thinking, all right, we're on week 2. As I said to you a few months ago, Jason, I thought, or I believe, that Shedeur would be the actual story of August. And in many ways he was. But once we get to Labor Day and then you turn the page to September and it's football season, I mean, this guy's not going to play. I don't even think he's suited up in his uniform. I do wonder
He's
why
suited
Adam
up.
Schefter actually brought this story up now, though.
Well, they're playing Baltimore this weekend, and it's
true.
a nice little tidbit.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have this information because this kind of self-sabotage, if you think after getting passed over in the first 4 rounds and you're telling teams, nah, I'm good, I want to go somewhere I can start. What do you think he was telling teams during the combine? What do you think he was telling teams during the lead up to the draft? If he was this arrogant after getting passed over through the first 4 rounds, this kid doesn't have an ounce of humility.
If you're going to act like this, Jason, and we're finding out things, I think there's going to be a book written about it. It's going to be released about Caleb Williams. There are a lot of red flags, not only with this play. I'm just talking about the way Caleb Williams and his camp conducted the pre-NFL draft process. I mean, think about this, Jason. It wasn't that long ago that Caleb Williams was actually kind of floating out the idea of ownership of the team. And I'm thinking, buddy, you haven't taken one snap, and you might be the backup to the honey badger by October, the way I'm looking at this whole thing. But he still got drafted number 1. And you know why, Jason? Because of leverage. Shedeur actually had no leverage at all.
He had his dad, and that's what happens when your dad coaches you and knocks down all the obstacles from Pee-wee to junior high to high school to Jackson State to Colorado, and you never have to compete. He doesn't know how to compete. He doesn't know how to be great. And I mean, this will sound crazy, but I don't think Deion ever knew how to be great. Deion just had so much talent, it just didn't matter. I'm just telling you, all this hype of Deion studying film and he knew the game, that's all hype. And the guy ran a 4.15 40, and there was nothing you could do about it. If Deion ran a 4.3, we'd have never heard of him. And I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, only a 4.3. Yeah, he's a tortoise now. Yeah, my God. Now he's become the Asian kicker. Okay, but Jason, come on. I'm with you 80% of the way, but the reality is Deion Sanders is the consensus number 1 cornerback of all time. At the very least, he's on the Mount Rushmore, and in my view, he's a top 20 all-time NFL football player. So he was great. We've got to give him that. Come on.
He was.
Okay.
He was. He had so much. Hey, look, Wilt Chamberlain was great, but he couldn't win like Bill Russell. He couldn't because he had too much talent. Too much talent can be a curse. I'm telling you. And you know, Shedeur actually needs that kind of talent, but he doesn't have it, thinks he has it. And this thing, you know, there's a guy, you mentioned the point about, hey, what's he going to do, Edmonton or CFL? There's some guys, I want to bring them onto the podcast. I think these guys, they were ahead of the conversation. I think they were predicting Shedeur was going to be in the 5th round pick. And now they're predicting that Shedeur is 1 or 2 years away from quitting football. That he will not. This will not be a long journey. He'll be just like Shiloh, who Shiloh said, "Man, I got other talents. I can act. I can rap. I can model." That's Shedeur is gonna be. What is LeVar Ball's son? That's the rapper, LeAngelo. Shedeur, he'll be tatted up somewhere, shirtless, rapping.
Wow. So the reality is these guys are saying this guy's going to be much closer to Spurgeon Wynn than Randall Cunningham. Duly noted. Duly noted.
Boom.
Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.